Hello everybody, my name is Kenny and today we're going to be talking about how to prepare for Endwalker, the next expansion. The next expansion is just around the corner and there's going to be a lot of things that you want to get done before Endwalker actually releases, because the moment Endwalkers comes out, you're going to spend a lot of time basically trying to catch up on the lore, complete the new content, level up new jobs, per se the new jobs that are coming out for Endwalker, the Reaper job and the Sage job perhaps. So there are a lot of things that you may want to do before Endwalker comes out, just so you are fully prepared when it does finally come out. So the things that I'm going to be mentioning in this video are some of the things that I did personally to prepare myself for the actual expansion release date. So I am going to be having the early access since I did pre-order Endwalker. So my first date of playing is going to be on November 19th. I'm very excited. It's literally like less than 2 weeks from now, I think, maybe a little bit over 2 weeks. And I'm very excited. So I think you are as well. So there's going to be a lot of things I'm going to be talking about. Now, everything I'm going to be talking about in this video is just opinion based. You don't have to do everything that I'm talking about in this particular video, but it is some things that I do mention that you may want to do for yourself. That way you're fully prepared when the game actually releases. So with that being said, let's get started. All right, the first thing that I would like to mention is the jobs. Now, maxing out all the job isn't something that you have to do. It is something that I personally wanted to do before Endwalker comes out, just so I have everything completely at level 80, all the crafters, all the jobs, all the Warrior of Light jobs, just so once the game actually comes out, I get to choose what job I actually fully want to play when the game comes out, as well as not having to spend some time while the game is out trying to level up other jobs in case I end up liking it because of the changes. So having all my jobs at level 80 is definitely something that's really nice to do, but it is definitely not necessary. I would suggest giving some time thinking about what job you do want to play for Endwalker. Experiencing an expansion with new content and everything with the job that you particularly want to play is going to be much more fun than playing a job that you're not super full on playing the expansion, because you only get to experience the expansion once. Might as well experience the expansion with the fullest by playing the job that you really feel like you are with, that you capture yourself as, like you represent yourself as, and go for it. For me, for example, I am really excited to play Monk because of the changes, as well as I used to be a Monk main. So I'm very excited for the changes, but I also want to play it as the expansion comes out. But I'm also very excited for Sage because I am also a healer main. So that combination of me preparing for healer as well as Monk, I'm very excited for both. Spend some time finding high level gear for that particular job that you are going to be leveling in Endwalker. It doesn't have to be something crazy. You can buy gear off of the market board or farm gear during the Eden raid, or even the near raids if you really wanted to, but it does help a little bit just having the best gear possible going into Endwalker. Again, it's not necessary. It's something that I personally wanted to do, as well as it's going to get replaced pretty quickly, I would say. Generally, just through my experience of playing MMORPG, whenever there's an expansion, gear tends to be replaced really quickly when an expansion comes out. Like literally the first gear that you find after doing a few dungeons is probably going to replace some of the gear that you already have, just because either the stats are much better or the level gap is different. So it doesn't really matter with this particular topic, but it is something that you could definitely do just to give yourself a little bit of a boost when the game finally comes out, because then you'll have like a little edge on fighting certain monsters or completing certain dungeons, because you'll just be able to do it a little bit easier. If you do plan on switching to Sage or Reaper when the expansion does come out, I highly recommend getting gear that shares within these two jobs. Now, Reapers, it's been already officially announced that it is sharing gear with Dragoons. So if you have a bunch of Dragoon gear or you don't, I do definitely recommend finding Dragoon gear, level 70 gear. That way, once you transfer or once you change to become a Reaper, you'll have gear automatically ready for you, so you can go ahead and continue your journey by having the right gear. As well as Sage, I think all healer gear should share the same amount, but if you really want to be precise, I definitely think you should probably prioritize on Scholar gear, just because they are both in the shielding category, whereas Astrologian and White Mage is going to be more of the healing over time type of gear. So Scholar might be the best option, but in this situation, I don't think it really matters. So you can choose whatever gear is fit for healers, and then once you switch to Sage, you will be having the right gear for that particular job. Last but but not least, Square Enix did do a live letter, a 7-hour live letter. Don't have to watch the entire thing, but there is a few section that talks about every job's new changes. So if you have a job in mind, what you want to play for the next expansion, and you want to know what the changes are for that particular job, I highly recommend watching the live letter really quickly on that specific job, just to know what changes are out there. I know, for example, Monk, there's a completely new revamp, new abilities, new gauges and everything. So that is something that I need to learn before Endwalker comes out. But if you're also like a summoner, for example, that is completely getting reworked. So if you're planning on maining summoner through your first set of quests of Endwalker, then might want to take some time to learn a little bit of what summoners now do, because I've heard that they changed a lot. So it is something that you don't have to do, but it is something that is nice to do, just to kind of refresh your memory, as well as just understand what the job does before Endwalker comes out. Next thing is inventory cleanup. Now, coming from me, who is super OCD, loves his inventory to be super clean and super nice, it is definitely important to clean up your inventory. It is known you don't need to hoard as many things as you have in your inventory. It is crucial to empty out your inventory, because the moment Endwalker comes out, there's going to be new items, new gear, new materials, just a bunch of new things that is going to basically stockpile your inventory. And if you don't have a clean inventory to begin with, you're going to find yourself really conflicted with space. You're going to have a lot of time, just downtime, just trying to clear out your inventory or trying to sell items that you are going to spend some time having to do during the expansion release. And I don't think you would want to do that during an actual expansion release. Can you stop it? Cat, no. Take the time right now to just go through all of your inventory, all of your Chocobo saddlebag, and just clear out some stuff. There are a lot of items that are for like Bajja or for Eureka that you don't even need to have in inventory. So maybe you want to put that in your retainer or put it aside because it's not necessary when you're doing Endwalker content. As well as some old gear. Like if you have any coffers and you don't really need them, either put it into your glamour storage unit, the dresser, or put it away, like even throw it away, because you can always regain them. You can always get them again by going to a Calamity Salvage NPC and then getting that gear back. So it's not necessarily needed that it's in your inventory. Even if you accidentally sell it or if you accidentally throw it away, discard it, you can always find a way to get it back. So it's not forever gone. So keep that in mind. Don't hog all of the gear that you find throughout your job quest line, all those coffers, because believe me, you don't really need it. Unless you're using it for glamour, it's not really necessary. Just get it out of the way, clear out your inventory. I promise you, you're gonna have a much easier time sorting through your inventory once the expansion does come out. So retainers, exactly like inventory, retainers is something that you also want to clean up. Once a new content comes out, there's gonna be a lot of things that you want to sell, a lot of things that you end up wanting to keep. And in retainers is going to be the #1 place to start storing all of your items, or items that you think is going to be important throughout your career in Endwalker and your progression in Endwalker. So cleaning up your retainers so you have enough space to sell your items to start making a profit throughout your storyline, or just storing in a bank, in a retainer bank, it is definitely important to do. One thing that I should mention is start leveling up your retainers.
What the hell is wrong with you? Level up.
If your retainers aren't level 80 in that specific job that you assign them on, do spend some time to try to level them up to level 80. I did do a video a little bit up here about retainers. So if you want to check it out and what I talk about retainers, it gives you a little bit of insight of what retainers actually can do and will, and it's a big thing.
That's what she said.
Definitely check out that video because that will give you an insight about what retainers can do for you. But leveling up your retainers is important, because the moment they hit level 80 and your actual character starts leveling up past level 80, like 81, 82 for that particular job, your retainer is going to start leveling up as well. And believe me, your retainer is going to find better gear, better items from Ventures at level 81 than it ever did in level 80. And you're going to start being able to sell those items on the market board. You're going to start selling it on just regular shops, maybe even use it yourself. So it is definitely very crucial to start leveling your retainers up to level 80 and cap it before Endwalker comes out. UI and setup. Now this is something that I personally like to do. I made a wonderful tutorial video on how to do a collapsible hotbar. If you want to take a look, it's going to be in the top right of the screen or also in the description below. But you can definitely spend a lot of time during this down period while we're waiting for Endwalker to start cleaning up your UI, cleaning up your setup, cleaning up your overlay. Make sure to design it the way you really want it to, because believe me, the moment Endwalker comes out, there's going to be a lot more abilities. There's going to be a lot more buttons. And you're gonna need a lot of room for all of those new buttons. So definitely spend some time before Endwalker and just start cleaning up your UI, cleaning up your buttons, just so you have room for all of these cool new buttons that's gonna be coming out once Endwalker comes out. If you are interested in finding a guide on how to make your hotbars look cleaner, then again, make sure to click on that video. It'll teach you a little bit of what collapsible hotbars and how to utilize macros in the game to be able to recall back a bunch of hotbars that you normally wouldn't have in only one job. It is a very cool detail. If you don't know anything about it, I highly recommend clicking the video, watching it a little bit, see if it's right for you. If you are on console or you do play on a controller, this video might not help so much. But if you ever wanted to maybe switch to to keyboard and mouse, maybe this video might give you the insight or maybe give you the little nudge to maybe do that transition to become a keyboard and mouse player, because it is very cool. But don't get me wrong, I think controller is fantastic. I know a lot of players, a lot of friends of mine that do play on controller and they love it. So by all means, do whatever finds you comfortable. But I personally have been playing with a keyboard and mouse my entire life, and MMORPG back to like World of Warcraft days. So this is something that I like to do. And again, as you know, I'm very OCD. So this is something that I like to do a lot. And I like to make my screen look as clean as possible so I can look at the screen and wow, everything looks beautiful. Yeah, basically like that. Unsynced content. Now, if you are a collector like me, or if you like to collect pets, mounts, glamour, whatever it may be, this is a crucial time for you to go ahead and start doing some unsynced content. If you've never done binding coils of Bahamut, or if you've never done any of like the Omegas or Alexander raids, I do recommend that you might take some time to go ahead and do it unsynced with a couple of friends. This way you'll be able to do the content without it being super duper hard, as well as experience the story of what the actual raids are all about. Now, I don't know exactly how the stat squish is going to happen. Yoshi P did talk about a stat squish that's going to be happening for 6.0 with Endwalker, so it may make unsynced content much more difficult, but it could also make it a little bit easier. We're not exactly sure how the stat squish is going to affect the whole unsynced content work is going to be like, but without having to give yourself a headache, I recommend doing it now, because doing the unsynced content right now, we know how it is and how easy it can be, especially if you do it with a group. Doing the Omega raids, doing the Alexander raids, as well as the binding coils of the Bahamut, it's really easy if you do it unsynced. Just do it, watch those cutscenes. It's really cool. It is very important also because one of the developers in Endwalker has hinted that the binding coils of Bahamut as well as the Omega is going to play a big part, if not a small part, in the Endwalker storyline. So if you don't know anything about the two raids that I mentioned, you might want to know about it, because it might actually help you understand a little bit of what is happening in Endwalker. Another thing is, if you are just wanting to collect some of the mounts and the minions, unsynced content is definitely the best way to do it, as well as glamour. Minions can be only found sometimes through raids as well as mounts. If you've completed every single unsynced raid for every expansion for all the savage content, even if it's unsynced, you will be receiving a cool mount. And I mean, it's by chance, but it's a lot easier than doing it legitimately. If you don't have that much time, or you don't want to spend like hours and hours wiping on a raid all the time, doing it unsynced is definitely very important. Last but not least, definitely complete your MSQ. I mean, MSQ is necessary. Like I mentioned in my other previous video with the icons, and like just MSQ is more important than your level video. This game revolves all about your MSQ, your storyline. And if you're not caught up in Shadowbringers for a storyline, then you will just not be able to get into Endwalker storyline. So if you have some lingering quests that you need to be doing, or if you're still a little bit behind, don't rush it. Take your time, like watch all the cutscenes, read everything that you want to read, because again, it's not the end of the world that you're the first one. If you're not the first one to go to Endwalker, definitely complete the MSQ, finish it up as soon as you can with you know, as you're comfortable with, of course, and just catch up, because once you're done with the MSQ, then all it is just waiting for Endwalker to come out. Once Endwalker comes out, bam, new MSQ is going to come out, new story is going to be coming out, and again, it is the final story of this particular story. Yoshi P has announced that this is going to be the last part of the story before new story that he wants to create for past Endwalker. So take some time, catch up to the story. And if you are caught up with the story, then maybe take some time to refresh the story. Go on YouTube, watch some recap story, maybe even go to the inn, and you can even watch previous cutscenes just to see what is happening. Maybe you've missed, or maybe you forgot specific details of the story. You're more than welcome to just go back and then watch it again. So it's up to you, but this is something that I would like to do before Endwalker comes out, just so I can refresh my brain on what is happening in the world of Eorzea and why we're going to where we're going in Endwalker. So yeah, it's definitely something that you might want to consider doing before Endwalker comes out. All right, with that being said, thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope this thing helps you out. Preparing for Endwalker, again, it's right around the corner. There's so many things to do, so little time, but I hope what I mentioned in this video does help you understand what you may want to do and what you may not want to really do it yourself. Again, take it however you like. There's no rush. I want you to enjoy the game as much as the next person. So this is just my opinion on what you could do before Endwalker comes out. And if you're just waiting around and you've pretty much done everything you wanted to do, then hey, you're a head start. You know, good job. I'm happy for you. But this is something that I did before Endwalker is coming out. This is something that I wanted to complete. My biggest goal was to complete all my jobs, get it to level 80. And I've completed it. Nothing I wanted to do was do the Palace of the Dead and get the Necromancer achievement. That's something that is a little bit more difficult, and I'm not even sure if I'm going to be able to complete before Endwalker comes out. There's a lot of other things, like my personal goal is to gain enough gil so I can buy a house once 6.1 comes out. I plan on getting a medium at least, or if not a large plot of land, so I do have enough for both my free company and my private housing. So there's a lot of things that you may have for yourself, and whatever it may be, I hope you take your time at it. I hope you don't get overwhelmed, because I know this game can be very, very overwhelming at first. So take your time. Don't feel rushed. It is a fantastic game that I hope you enjoy, and I can't wait to see you all in Endwalker. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please consider subscribing today, become one of the members of the family, as well as joining the Discord community. We do have a Discord. We talk about Final Fantasy all the time in there. Make sure to hit that like button, as well as hit that bell for notification when I release a video. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.